Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour for December 14th, 2018. I'm Dave Slusher, joined here with Chuck Tomasi and Andrew Barnes. And today we're going to talk more home automation, one of our favorite topics. But first, let's have the longer introduction, starting with Chuck.
Hey, this is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow. I'm a senior TPMM. I've been at the company for 8.5 years. Well, 8 years, 6 months, 7 days. Actually, I think today would be day 3332. If I remember my count yesterday, somebody asked. It's a countdown on my phone. I was a customer for a couple of years before that. Spent a lot of time doing implementations and professional services and solution consulting, and always focused on the platform and custom applications and integrations. That's where I live. That's what I love.
Awesome. Thank you, Chuck. And I'm Andrew Barnes. I'm a developer advocate at ServiceNow. I've been at ServiceNow for just over 3 months now. And we live over at developer.servicenow.com. I've been working on the platform for about 4 years, so I worked at a couple of customers and an implementation partner, doing lots of integrations, and really touched on pretty much all of the suites and software in ServiceNow, at least at some level. And I just love getting together on Fridays and doing this with you guys.
Yes, and should be noted that Andrew joined the stream something like 15 minutes after his play, or 20 minutes after his plane touchdown. So gets the Road Warrior badge for that one.
I'm almost still in San Antonio in my mind.
Such dedication.
So you were in San Antonio, you were in Orlando. So it's been quite a whirlwind for Andrew, the last travel of the year.
Yep. Last 50 hours or so.
So we're at whatever status level we're at this point, locked in. All right. So Chuck, tell us a little bit about what the project.
You have to introduce yourself, Dave.
Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Dave Slusher, developer advocate, developer.servicenow.com. Same as Andrew. Andrew is my partner in that. I'll spend all week developing stuff, submitting knowledge sessions, and buying a house, and lots of fun stuff. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of stress, and let us go forward.
The deadline for submitting for knowledge sessions is tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. So
yes.
That is
like
soon.
3 hours, something like that.
Yeah. So the countdown is on. So Chuck, you want to introduce your beer?
I have one last can of the Fest beer from Wren House Brewing right here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Awesome. I had to dig into the. I have very, very few beers in the house, apparently. But this is one that I actually know and love already. This is an Allagash Curio, and it is, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Do the barrels indicate it's aged in some way?
Yes. So it's a Belgian style in bourbon barrels.
Ooh, that should have a nice flavor.
Yeah, it does.
All right. And I've got the cold press coffee stout from Fish Brewing somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. I know this is another one of those corner of my eye Aldi's purchases. Like, I don't have any idea what this is. I will try a 6-pack of it.
It's starting to be the good. I mean, in North Carolina right now, it's definitely good weather for starting to move into the stouts. I mean, I've got still a foot of snow out here.
I've got coffee stout and I've got coffee. So I've got a kind of a reference baseline here. All right. So Chuck, take it away. Chuck is driving this week, talking about more home automation.
Let's do the share on desktop 2. See if we can get this to go. Share, turn the camera off. Where's my camera? Come back. That's the one time I want the little control panel at the top of the screen and it disappeared. Okay. Do we have screenage?
Yes, we do, sir.
Okay. Oh, we have partial screenage on YouTube. It's doing like the...
All right, I'll work on that while you
screen. Okay, so the history of this is I've got a number of automated smart switches and appliances and outlets around my house, and I've been triggering them with the Amazon Dash button, which we've been through before. I won't go too deep into that, but we will need to reference some of that information because it contains like the incoming information from a button click, which I can simulate with an NFC tag, which I can then use to determine which button was clicked, how it was clicked, what do you want to do, Well, the scenario I'm in now that I want to do something at a different time. I want to do a scheduled task, but I want to do it at a different time each day. So my use case is I want this lamp to come on at sunset and turn off at sunrise, or turn off at 10 p.m. or something. I want to be more like scheduled, because some APIs, like I think it's the Hue API, or Apple's smart, what do they call theirs? Anyway, you can set up sunset and sunrise times, and it knows based on your location when that is. Alexa doesn't. So I can't say turn on the backyard at sunset. So every couple of weeks I'm adjusting it one way or the other, a little earlier, a little later. But this kind of blows, man. I want to take over and do it myself. So what I found is a website called sunrise-sunset.org. And I have that right here. And if you type in like Phoenix, Arizona, which I already typed in as an example earlier, just to make sure that it worked, it will tell you all the relevant information about Phoenix, Arizona. The sunrise will be at 7:24. Is that today? That's today. It rose, and it will set at 5:22. This is how much info I get. Tomorrow it does that. And I said, okay, this is wonderful information. Do you have an API? And of course,
do you have an API? That is a question we ask many things.
In fact, I kind of found it the roundabout way. I said sunrise, sunset API, and this is what came up.
Didn't you know a web page is an API?
What's that?
A web page is an API.
Yes, it is. So I came up with this, and there's some nice usage in here. You have to know your latitude and longitude, which you can easily get from Google, or type it in, or use a location, whatever. There's a number of ways you can get this. I'm not going to do anything with that other than hard-coded for the moment. But you can easily get something like put in lat and LNG as your parameters. So if I take this and copy that to a new tab and say lat equals, oh, look, there are my values from my browser history. And the date is today. I should get those same bits of information. Unfortunately, I don't have my nice little Chrome formatter in here, but it returns all times in UTC. So we have that to deal with. But we can deal with that in ServiceNow, right? If we do a set value, perhaps, instead of a get value, or just get display value, we can deal with that. The challenge is going to come because the sunset is actually after midnight. But
that's okay.
Well, that's true. That's okay. It says Andrew. That's okay. And then, of course, I could put in any day. So what I'm aiming for is to get this information once a day. Maybe at midnight, you say, when is sunrise? When is sunset? You could do one API a day. That's easy to schedule and get back this information. Now you know when sunrise and sunset are. They're going to be different each day by a little bit. And then schedule something to trigger off of those times. That's the goal. Right? I already know how to turn the lamp on and off with my scripted REST API. We could do that. We could stick a record in. There's lots of different ways we can trigger this thing. But the main goal is, how do I latch onto this information and take action on it on a scheduled basis? Now, before I throw my idea out, we want to architect this a little bit, have a little architectural discussion of how would you do something at a specific time without every minute going, is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Because we don't want to schedule a job that runs every minute. That's inefficient. It's kind of pointless.
I think I would use an event.
Okay. Who's generating the event?
When you go and get the data from the API call,
you
generate the events that you're going to run that day right then.
But the event would, if you use GS event queue, it's going to fire the event immediately.
Did you say if
you can set a time for an event?
I know where you're going with this. GS event queue scheduled.
Yes. So set the time for the event, and then when the time comes, it runs then.
That's where I was going to. Dave, you had a comment?
Or did you say whether you have a webhook available with this?
I do not. So it's not going to send me an event at sunrise. Okay. I have to latch onto this, which is why I'm thinking once a day, I'm just going to go out like at midnight and say, when is sunrise and sunset today? Then I'll have that information. I can store that or use that, like Andrew said, is just turn around and stick it in a GS event queue.
Mhm.
Now, I would love to do this with Flow Designer and Integration Hub, but we can't get GS event queue in there. Well, we could. We possibly could. We possibly could if we did it in a custom action.
So you want to like create the event from a flow? Is that what you were saying?
We create the event. Well, at midnight. We go out and we check this website. When is sunrise, sunset, and sunrise and sunset? It comes back with 2 times. We say, good. Schedule one event to trigger at sunrise and one event to trigger at sunset. We know what those times are, and then those will be scheduled to run. So at 5:52 or 7:35 or whatever the sunrise time is, it goes fire. Then we could make other things react to that event. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a simple.
Seems reasonable.
Yes.
I'm on board.
Okay. How first we need that piece that goes out at midnight. We could do that part with Flow Designer, right?
Yeah. Just a scheduled flow. Absolutely.
We would need the action for that.
Yeah.
You should. Can you do that with an off-the-shelf just REST? If you got a REST message to get this, I don't know if you need a custom action. You should just be able to just do a call REST message
in the script or
you should be able to
the action, the out of the box action for REST message.
There's an out of the box REST message. I thought I thought REST messages were only available.
Or is that only a step?
Is that only an out of the box step? That could very well.
I can't remember. I know it's a step, but maybe it's
sunrise and sunset. Okay.
We may actually be getting hamstrung by that fractal nature of Flow Designer.
I think so. So let's say daily for simplicity, we'll say midnight. There's our trigger. Ooh, we're off to a rockin' start. Take a drink. And then the action is, I don't think there's
I guess we don't have a
build one.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
It's a really simple action to build, though.
Okay, you've done this before. I have not done too many REST actions except in lab exercises. So because this has no authentication, it should be fairly simple because we don't need connection and credential aliases, right?
Yeah, because you don't have any credentialing.
Let's make a new action called. It's going to be called the same thing as my flow, unfortunately. Get sunrise, sunset. Wow, the fingers. Jeez. This alcohol is going straight to my fingers. Okay, all application scopes. The description we'll fill in later because it's only ours. Inputs. We don't need any inputs, do we? Well, we could put in
send in a location.
A location and a date.
Or the longitude, latitude.
Can you flip over to your API right quick? What were the inputs to the API again? Latitude, longitude, and does it automatically infer today's date, or do you pass that in?
It's also a parameter date.
It infers today's date. You can also say string of to date. You could also, fortunately, use any date formatted as our default year, month, day format. And formatted equals 0. So here's the response you're going to get. Is results. You get your sunrise, sunset time. You get solar noon. Look at this. You get civil twilight, and nautical, astronomical, in case you want to know those twilight numbers. And then response without date formatting puts it in that T format, which might be easier to parse.
I would do that latter because that's gonna go into your glide system better.
Yeah, we could just do a split on the T. Well,
I don't know that. I think that might take it off the shelf with nothing.
Really, you think we can do this ISO 8859? No, it's not.
I think
it's something else. I've parsed this stuff once before, but okay, we can try. I'm all for less work. So back to Flow Designer.
Yep.
We need our longitude. Make that mandatory because without it, we're not going anywhere. String, fine with you. I can't see it being, well, we could do a floating point.
I don't have strong feelings.
Let's go with a string for now. We'll do latitude. And we will let's leave date alone because it's going to default to today.
Okay.
There's our inputs. Our first, we want to, well, we can just fire the rest, right? I don't think we need to
just go. Yeah, we'll
script anything. We don't need a connection alias or connection. We do connection inline.
Define inline. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do a get our resource, our base
Throw
URL.
the base URL in there.
HTTP. I don't remember if it was S or not. Let's see. Was it? It's S.
Copy and paste.
Yeah. So sunrise, where's my template? The one right there. That's where I got today. And go back to flow. Paste that, but we're going to take, remember your lecture, right? You take this part off so that your resource path is JSON. Now you put your parameters in here. I'm trying to remember where these things go.
You're gonna drop your data pill for those.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because that's where they're coming from.
Okay, they don't go down in query parameters or anything like that.
You probably could if you wanted to.
You could.
You could take those all the way off and then drop the data pill into query parameters, or you could just build them inline in that. You have,
Either way.
Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Okay. Well, if you get a really long query, then I can see.
It's a very singular use case sort of endpoint. So it's not like we need a flexible.
In this particular case, it's really a coin toss.
Yeah. But if you've got something that stretches out with 5, 6, 7 parameters, it might get a little unwieldy in the resource path and easier to manage.
Yeah, that's certainly when it would be a good idea. If you can't see it all anymore, put it in a different format.
Okay, so that's that. And anything else?
That's I mean, you need to do something with the output. You know, you have to.
Right, that's a script.
We're not going to need to parse that, but yeah. you should have an appropriate response body already with just that.
Send rest to sunrise and sunset.
Which we could test, before we start parsing.
Just do a GS log.
What?
No, you don't have to do anything. I would just run. Just run this.
Flow executions are the best.
And then you can have the actual. You can have your actual.
Yeah, you have the payload, and then we can parse it.
Invalid resource path. Let's
okay. Maybe it's angry at using.
Do you not proceed it with the slash?
You do not proceed it with the slash. I believe is the case, but I don't think. I think it might be just angry at us.
Changes you made may not be saved. I hit save already. Don't worry about it. Where's it going to take me? It didn't save the step.
Yeah, it had an error.
It didn't save anything. Look, I got no inputs. I saved. It couldn't save because it had an error. Dang.
Yeah.
Now we got to do this all again. Okay. Well, second time always goes faster, right, kids? Latitude, string, mandatory, longitude. Longitude, string, mandatory, insert, rest. Define inline, base URL, HTTPS, sunrise. I don't still have that pasted, do I? Oh, no, I don't. Okay. What was it?
It's the, yeah.
API.sunrisesunset.org. Okay. HTTPS. S api.sunrise-sunset.org. Resource path.
Let's do it the other way. Let's do it.
Yeah. Pull off everything but the JSON.
Pull up that.
Yeah.
Query parameters. Lat. Value
data
is
pill.
Latitude.
And
add LNG. is going to be my longitude.
We
Okay.
now
Save.
now give it a happy save.
Wow, we learned something today.
Yeah, it was angry. I
Yep.
I don't know why.
Yep.
It should have been fine, but
Properties looks
whatever.
okay. Okay, back here, we want to make sure that we can use our
Draft actions. Yeah.
And that's pretty much all we need. So let's go to my actions. What did I call this crazy thing? This is, I don't see it.
You may not have given it a category.
Category is within the scope. I am in the Nexus scope. Did I not see a Nexus in here?
I don't know. Type what you're looking for. Get sunrise. There you go.
Global. Dang it. I made that mistake once before.
And we'll make it again.
Yeah. So my latitude is 33. This is going to give away where my house is if you're actually watching this. 629,510. Longitude is -112.
You didn't have to go to 7 levels of detail.
Okay. We'll leave it there. The sunrise is going to rise about the same time. It might be off by a minute, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's just what Google gave me. There, you'll know the neighborhood I'm in. Somewhere on this meridian line.
That's a really wide swath.
Not as wide as you might think. Run test.
All right.
And you know it's in feet.
It ran.
Oh, it ran. Okay,
Yep.
Here we go.
Here we go.
And
let's see what we get.
Completed.
So our expectation is a time and a 200, hopefully. 200
sunset.
200.
Yes. Okay.
Now
early success is good.
Now
that we have that information, we need to parse it out, right?
Yep.
And what do we want to return? Just the sunset. We should return like a date and time variable. Yeah, I would do a date and time for each of these.
I would probably return a string, but that's just me.
Because we're going to be passing this into what? Where are we going to use this? Into another
action, I guess.
Another custom action that's going to use GS event queue schedule.
Event, yeah.
All right, you can do what you want, but
we should look at the API of what GS event
okay.
queue looks like.
Okay.
I don't use it that often.
It accepts string, a string. String, object, string, object.
Did I miss something? Glide.
So it takes a name, an instance, a param1, a param2, and expiration.
Training API glide system. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. Let's see. And somewhere down here we have error event queue schedule. So name of your event, which we would expect, a glide record instance, which we don't need, parm1, parm2, and then the expiration, the date and time, the process. So it's an object of
date, time, object, time? I would hope.
Okay. So it's a time that we can drag it from one action to the other. That's what we want. Why? Give me your thoughts on why you would do a string, Dave.
I had a lot of trouble when I was doing that YouTube spoke, returning. I mean, that was the biggest part of that struggle is returning the date time objects.
Yeah.
So instantiating a glide date and then returning it as date time did lots of weird things for me.
Yeah, I probably only want to mess with that one time. So
we could do strings and then have the custom action input the strings and do the parsing itself. That would make it a little more flexible, I think. And it would keep us on simple scalar variables instead of object spookiness. I don't know. Who wants to gamble today?
You're driving, so ultimately
you're driving.
Make the final decision.
You get to roll with it. We'll help you on. Every man who braves date times and time zones is a man that is more scarred afterwards. Man, beast, woman, any of the things, you come out a little more scarred every time you
Right.
play with dates.
Yes, you do. Okay, input variables to this. Oh, we didn't send any output from our REST. Oh, we
Yep.
don't need to. We already have those. Those
We
are
have that
response
data
body,
bill, yeah.
response headers. Okay. So what do we need for this? We need the response. Where'd my cursor go? Hey, God, this mouse is
So yeah, you need a input variable for your script. So we can,
response body.
Yep.
Right. And the value is going to come from here.
response body. Yeah. And
What else?
if you
I don't-
want to do error handling, we
We
can, but
could do the
I'd probably
status
just
code,
get to
etc.
parsing.
Okay. It's a pretty hard thing to fool. We'll get more robust with error checking if it starts to fail. How's that? And var body equals inputs dot response body. We need to know what our body looked like. It was results dot sunrise and results dot sunset. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So var sunrise time UTC equals body dot results dot sunrise. Var sunset time UTC equals didn't we want the non-formatted version? We need
Is that what we're getting?
we're getting the formatted one with just the time in UTC. We were talking about maybe going after the second format where we have to say formatting equals 0 or formatted equals 0.
Ah,
The query parameter.
But here's now look at the front. The front one. I was gonna say 5:30.
It's still UTC. They don't give a time zone. I don't know.
Oh, I was misreading the data of that. If that returned it in your time zone, it would be different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really up to you.
I like the not formatted date. You know, the
I think for debugging purposes, that's a little easier. Horse a piece. Let's do formatted. Oops, formatted.
I really wish that was a like a not actual text, but instead just the shadow text things. When you click in there, that would be really nice. just little quality of life improvements. You know.
Body dot results dot sunset. Now that we have these, or assume we have them, what shall we do with them? That's interesting.
I'll put them.
If you hit tab does like a 5 or 6 character tab.
So if you want them usable, I would
output them,
add them to the outputs.
So
right, because we're gonna we're not gonna return those strings though, are we?
Why not?
You're either
we want to return like a more ServiceNow friendly string.
You do whatever.
Where do you want to do your logic? Do you want to do it here? Or do you want to do it later?
Somewhere you're
going to rather do it here because this is going to be a standalone thing that could be used in other things that want a date time string, and I don't want every one of those to be doing the logic of parsing that. This should return a nice, clean, scrubbed, cleansed. Here's a nice ServiceNow date time string you can use. Let's do that here.
Okay.
So the time's coming back in UTC.
Yeah.
Are you going to consistently do everything in UTC up and down the board?
Oh, here comes this discussion.
Which I don't have any problem with, but if you're going to do anything other than UTC, you also have to decide where that's going to happen.
I think for the sake of this, let's keep everything in UTC.
Okay.
That way we don't really have to worry about, I mean, we can send that theoretically right into a glide date time object and say, eat this, or, and then the event queue scheduled would be on UTC, and everybody's running on UTC. There's no headaches, no problems. It works everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's the theory anyway. So in order to get that, let's do var sunrise array is going to be a sunrise UTC, sunrise time UTC dot split. Well, do we want to go regex on you?
There's a ding for that.
We could regex our way out of this thing. How much time do we want to spend on this? The old adage.
That's not a pun at all.
I used to have a problem. Then I used regex. Now I have two problems. We could do a couple of splits just to make it quick and dirty. Split on the T and then take the time and split on the plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like going and figuring out a regular expression to get those two values out. It's only two things.
Oh, okay. We'll allow it.
Yeah, sure. Your problem, buddy. Okay, that's ours. We'll get first part, second part, and then this feels so clunky, but sunrise, the sunrise time array is going to be sunrise ARR sub 1.
So given what you're doing right now, I actually think it's easier to get the formatted version, because then all you.
But then I don't know the date. If it says
what's
the sunrise,
today?
No, the sunrise, the sunset.
It's in UTC
midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, but you see, you don't know if that midnight barrier thing kind of bothers me.
Okay.
So to have the date with it validates which side of that it falls on. Because if you were given a time of 12:01, I mean, consider you live north of the Arctic Circle, your day could be really short, and the sun sets at 2 p.m. You wouldn't necessarily know if that's 2 p.m. today or 2 p.m. in the morning, because the time swing on that thing is crazy. Not that I'm moving anywhere north or south of the but I'm thinking of use cases here, and I want to give our audience something to contemplate when they come up against similar use cases. So we've got the two pieces. We want, there we go, bar sunrise.
Well, that's just for sunrise. Yeah.
GDT equals new glide date time, and then sunrise GDT dot set value. Ooh, look at that. Set value UTC. It's like they wrote this for me. Is going to be sunrise array.
Sunrise R.
I can talk like a pirate day. Plus space plus sunrise time R sub-0. Yeah. You think maybe we ought to like make that a string and do a GS debug on it just to see what we get?
No, we'll have runtime values.
Oh, we will. In the script.
In the script.
In the flow, you're going to get.
Okay. All right.
The flow execution debugging is pretty great.
I haven't gone to this extreme yet. So this
I have not had to resort to putting in any logs that were not just for general debugging outside of flow designer purposing. Like I don't have to go to logs. The flow execution is pretty great at that. Have you, Dave, had to like put in logs?
I don't
anything
know
in flow designer.
I don't believe
I can't recall doing it.
I certainly don't remember either.
All right, I'm going to trust you guys on this. You've done more of these custom actions than I have. Sunset. 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 And then ultimately, we want a nice friendly date out. It says outputs.sunrise equals sunrise dot
GD. No, sunrise GDT.
Dot value?
Why? Why don't you just output the object?
Because we were talking about that. Do you want an object or you want a friendly string? Let's do the object.
I mean, if you went to the trouble of putting it in a glide date object.
True. Sunset equals sunset.
Otherwise, just output the strings.
All right, let's do that. Quiet you. So this is going to be.
You need a T in your outputs.
Oh, on the second one anyway.
There you go.
Thank you. Save me from a painful syntax error. Sunrise is going to be a date time. Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sometimes there's weird other things that look like date times that aren't. Like, what's the difference between a date time and a glide date time? I don't know. And then
glide.
We pass those. One's faster. One was written by David Liu and the other by Don Goodliffe. I have no idea.
One goes faster over the snow.
Sunrise. Sunset. If this works, it's another testament to how easy it is to build stuff in Flow Designer. Okay, you ready? We need to put that on our Wonder Flow. That's not my output, is it? No.
You have?
There's my, okay. And you
just run it.
Oh, I've got it. I haven't done anything with it. Okay. So it refreshed. Let's test. Test a flow before publishing it. Yes. I'm so used to seeing that prompt for pick a record. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Cannot read property one from undefined. Let's see. This is where the operational thing comes in.
Okay, the script step.
There's the script step, but we got our body, but I'm not seeing any sign of the script step.
So, I mean, step 2 is the script step, right?
Right.
Step 1 was the rest. So
yeah,
you're erroring out here. Let's see what property from undefined. So something here is undefined.
My splits are probably falling apart somewhere. But we can't see the runtime value of the variables. That's what I was hoping.
I mean, you can see the runtime value of the variables. It's the next thing. So if you close this and open it,
really?
Yeah, that.
This is my just my response by. This is just the input.
Oh, that is the input. That is sorry.
Input, which has
it errored.
Results.sunrise blah. Let's make sure we're getting some of this. I'm going back to the old-fashioned printable variable thing. Now let's go to our action. Parse the object. Darn.
You need to define it as an array, or does split do that for you?
Split is going to end up with an array here. So if I split it with a T, the letter T.
Okay. So the output of split is an array.
Either, yes.
Yes,
okay.
Either this didn't work, so this is failing. And then when I try to access element 1, it's going, no, I have no such thing. Or this is wrong, which is causing this to fail. Let's first make sure we have.
Did we define both of the inputs? Or the response input is inputs.response body. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's
body
a common mistake.
Sunrise. Yeah, that looks. I mean, is that what it's called? Is results and can we look at the payload and make sure that really is what it is?
So the results of this came back as, we can look at it right here, right? As our
results sunrise. Okay.
Sunrise and .sunset.
That seems reasonable.
Okay. Good thing to check. I'm not. So let's do caps lock. I'm not shouting at you. Sunrise time UTC equals sunrise time.
Is response body a string, or has it been JSON parsed?
Oh,
It's a string.
is it?
Well, then
That's a
let's JSON parse
string.
that. Let's JSON parse it.
JSON parse that.
Yeah, that's easy to get confused too, because sometimes, like when you do is it response or is it request? Did I totally botch that? No, it's the response body. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you get a response back. It's already an object. I don't know. Or you don't have to stringify your response on an outbound. That's what it was. That's what I'm thinking of.
All right. Give it a whirl.
What could possibly go wrong?
We do it live here.
Hey, Andrew, you and I have been stuck on the simple things for quite some time. Cannot find method, glide date time, set value, UTC. Why did you offer it to me then? Come on, man. That's not even fair.
That's just mean right there.
Who wrote this?
Cannot find. Really?
Right. I don't see our output anywhere. I mean, there's our outputs, but I don't see my GS info unless that ended up in a log somewhere. Okay, so if I don't have a set value UTC, let's just go with set value.
I mean,
I think
that is definitely a glide date time function, set value UTC.
Yeah, but it takes two parameters.
Oh yes.
The second one is
date, time, and format.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happens if the second one.
Format?
Yep.
My date time. I haven't had good luck with this search on the side thing.
So you actually put in the format
set
as a parameter.
Value UTC. Okay. What does set value take?
That I believe doesn't that
just
take
a straight string, right? Yeah.
But is it I'm out here we go with the date time thing. Is it I'm reluctant to use the date time.
It's kind of polymorphic here. If you see, it can take a few different things.
Yeah. And whereas the set value UTC is you have to know the format and set it explicitly. Whereas the set value tries to be helpful and tries a bunch of different formats.
Effectively, I think what you're doing is you're passing along the Java date format string ultimately.
I need to test something in scripts background real quick. If I use a straight set value, I think it comes out. I think this is assuming a time zone. It's almost like set display value. No, it's not. Okay, so whatever I set is going to come out with a get value. Okay. I say we skip the set value UTC.
And just set value.
Set value.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, that's numero uno, and this is numero dos. I had to pick something with times and dates.
I mean, that's
there is a reason why I did that whole moment JS.
I know.
Because
in the back of my mind.
Because there is a great value in the predictability of moment versus the unpredictability of our own date time system.
Can I just run the test again, or do I have to stop and hit test again?
I believe you can just hit run test again, but
yeah, I did see it flicker.
It's
like
worth.
There was, hey,
let's see what we got.
Steps. What are the outputs? 725 and 1721. Is that not what we were looking for?
That looks like what you're looking for. I mean, that seems like a reasonable sunset time for you.
Value. Yeah, these are systems display value. So, yeah. Okay.
I think we're there.
I think we're there. Take a drink.
Take a drink.
It's quarter after. Yum, yum. Anything in the comments we need to know?
No, sir.
Well, this is interesting. Server Nginx. Wonder who's sending that along. I'll look into it later. Okay, now that we've got that, we need what? Another custom action to
create an event, a scheduled event. Yes.
Okay, so let's add new action.
Mm-hmm. And are you going to put it in a good scope this time? are you going to keep them both in global, keeping it
Maybe.
tricksty?
I can see other people using this, so why not leave it global?
All right.
All right. Good call. It's something to check. See, the problem is it's hiding right behind my webcam that I couldn't see it before. Can I use that as an excuse?
Blame it on the webcam. Absolutely.
Right. I am reading through cameras. I've been doing it for years. This is going to be what? Date and time. And it's going to be a date and time. Should be mandatory. Otherwise, you don't go very far. And our script, is this going to be as easy as I think it is?
I think this should be fairly easy.
GDT.
The only interesting thing is which object are you going to run that event on?
You can say null. I've done it. It doesn't need a glide record. Null is a glide record.
Okay, you can just say no.
Yeah, null.
As long as you put something in there, it's okay.
Yeah,
including null.
Yep.
All right.
So this is going to be gs.event queue scheduled. Name of the event. I got to go to the registry.
We got to go make one.
Register for the event. Register your wedding.
You don't have to do that ahead of time, but
I usually do. Otherwise I'll forget, and then you get to the end and go, why did it fail? Plus, you can always see it. So my event is going to be. Oh, we're going to need two.
You're going to need two, right? You're going to want sunset and sunrise. And so why don't you accept which event you want as a parameter?
Yes. Point to this table as a reference. I have done that when I was trying to start making a custom action for GS event queue. Okay. So we want an event called sunrise. That feels really lame, but okay.
Why don't you do, give it a preface, like what you're going to do with it. What are you going to do with, is this lights.sunrise or something like that?
It's part of the Nexus application.
Nexus.sunrise. Yeah, there you go. So you're not searching for it. You need to create a new one, sir. Don't drink and code, kids.
Now we can just call it sunrise. Wow, that made it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, because it's in the Nexus scope. I like it. Very good.
And table is not required. So that was easy. It was more painful just to think up the name, wasn't it? Good gravy.
Sunset.
I hope someone's finding this mildly entertaining.
I mean, I'm finding it entertaining. So
just to watch
good enough.
Okay, we also need an input up here.
Which event? Yep.
For create this event name, which is going to be a reference to. Is it just called event registry?
I don't think I've ever pointed to that table in this manner before. So
I have.
So I have no help there, but
it's sys event register, if I remember right. We can find out.
It's right there. Sys event register. Yeah. Event registry is the name of the table, and the table.
How did you get that name so fast?
I just read it in your URL. And
wow,
then
you
the
have really
table.
Good eyes.
Yeah.
I can barely read that. Okay. And that needs to be a mandatory.
Okay.
And then we go back down here, and now we know
set it as an input for your
for here. We got to get it from the action input.
Yeah, I actually am not wild about this feature of the script steps, is that I have to pass in the data pills.
It would be nice if your data pill, if you could.
Like data pills should be accessible to me in the script.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Like
that starts to feel like virtual agent though, because you're going to have your input vars and your
I'm okay with that. Okay. I've been doing a lot of virtual agent stuff this week.
This we don't want the name though. We want the event name pill.
Yeah.
We don't care about a sys ID or the record itself. We're just getting good old event name from.
So inputs.event name.
You know how many times I did way too much C programming as a child, and I can't spell inputs without getting that T in there. Event name, and then null, and a couple of parameters. Do we give
Yep. Param 1, Param 2, and then the
yeah
time. So
param 2,
nothing.
whoever.
And
And then the
time.
time is
Inputs.gdt.
really? It's that easy?
Inputs.gdt.
What? Stop auto completing.
That was very helpful and not helpful.
All right.
All right. That should put an event into the event table. And you don't need any outputs because you're just writing something to the event table.
And test and run test.
I will be amazed if this works on the first try for this part.
Where's my other step? My other action? Did I not instantiate that?
You didn't add it to the flow. And
hey, come.
It's in global. Yeah.
Get sunrise.
Create
get
scheduled event. Top one.
Oh, okay. You know, the category would have been nice here.
And
date time is going to be one for the
output.
Where's my output from the previous step?
Give it a save so you can get the data pills.
Yeah, there they are.
There you are.
Okay, I need one for the sunrise.
Yeah, and we'll just run that. Like, that's fine. Let's just do one.
My Nexus.
Yeah, it doesn't start with Nexus.
Oh, it started with X_SNC Nexus.
Yeah.
Sunrise. Done. You just want to do that? You don't. Sunset's going to be the same thing. Right?
Yeah. Let's get one of them to work, and then we'll add in the other action.
Test. I hope everybody who's learning is learning by my crude mistakes here.
This is what we do.
No pointer exception. I hate those. Who has an NPE?
All right.
It might not like my null glide record.
Well, you were very, very vehement that you could do that.
No, GS event queue works. I was hoping GS event queue schedule was just a
and I was just rolling with it because you were very adamant that that was okay.
All right. Get off my case. You know what? I have a glide record. Look, right here.
Right there, you do. Look at that.
Not event name. I need, phooey. I need another input. In which case I could probably just dot walk to my event name. Oh, wait.
It doesn't matter what the record is. Just give it one.
But that's a glide record. Why is that showing up as an event? I'm confused by my own naming standard. Yeah. I called the input variable event name. And the field is also called event name. Boy, is that whacked. Okay.
That's not confusing at all.
Okay, so this would be
input.event.
Good thing I call them different things, because certainly someone else didn't label them different things. Yeah. Whoops.
It's saved.
It's saved. Run test.
I think we ran Dave off.
It didn't give me an NPE. No NPE. Let's go check the logs.
Do we have
log?
We have an event?
It's scheduled. It's not going to go yet.
No, but it'll be in here. The event will be in here.
No, it won't. Not until the time.
It should be. Yeah, it should be in here.
Yes, it will absolutely be in here.
Oh, because it's registered to run at a specific time.
Yes.
It's just not going to process until then. I didn't know that. Okay, so it's in the queue. I thought it didn't get queued until that time.
Well, where would it live if it wasn't?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, that is that API that you called. That is in fact the queuing mechanism.
Yeah, that is what it does.
Well, I know that it queued it, but I didn't know that it was okay. All right. So how does it know when to run?
The event processors check that queue every second.
Where is the time to run in here is what I'm wondering.
There's a field for time to run.
Is there? I don't see it.
It's
process on, I'll bet is what it is.
Yeah, that is the time to run. Process on.
At 7:25. Sweet. And that is the time we got. It was 7:25 exactly? That seems kind of suspicious.
That seems a little suspicious, but Directionally correct.
725. You know what? We know because it will come out in this screen as sunrise. It is exactly 7:25:00.
Well, there you go.
Wow, that was scary.
Knowing what victory is a very important step.
What does done look like? That's the first.
Yes. What does done look like? 7:25 into the event.
All right.
Processed on field. And we did that.
So let's go back here and just simply add in our action global create scheduled event.
For sunset.
Time is going to be sunset. This is the fun part, kids. It's nothing more entertaining than doing a flow the easy way. Next is sunset. Done. Save. We should probably publish that action at some point. Now that we know these work,
so
right?
that'll get us events into the event queue.
Right.
And now we need
then it's really up to what I want to do with them.
Use them.
So, Chuck, you were just saying publish. In fact, probably what you want to do is you do not want to hit that publish for the first time until you are really good with it, because then what you're going to have to do is you have to publish every time you want to see it take effect once you hit publish the first time.
Oh, good point.
So it's certainly not impossible. It makes some things a little bit easier, but it does add.
But it's double clicking.
Correct.
Sure.
Correct.
Save, then publish.
And you're going to forget to hit publish one of those times.
I am speaking as somebody who has forgot to hit publish and did not understand why I was not seeing my updated logic.
Because now you have to publish each version.
So now you have a flow that is scheduled to run at midnight every day and goes and gets your sunrise and sunset values, and then returns those and then creates scheduled events for both sunrise and sunset. I mean, that's about as close to victory as is we expected to get to today.
The next step would be a script action that reacts to those.
Right.
And that's
which is very straightforward and does,
because
you know.
Let me show you what it's going to do. Back here on my Nexus application, I have my lookups from button clicks. And if I want to turn this lamp on, we didn't even turn the lamp on once yet today. It says when the button is clicked once, if you get a single click, then I've already got this API from my other app that interfaces.
Oh, yeah. You just literally just call that script in your script action and you're done. I mean, I think we can take the 4 minutes to do that.
Oh, but how are we going to test this? We can't sit here till 5 p.m.
You just change the process on time to now.
Well, that could work. Okay. You're making life too easy. Wait, I want to do this from Studio. I had Studio around here, right? Can you do script? You can do script actions from here. Server, script action. Sweet.
There's a couple of things you can't do in Studio in some versions, but pretty much.
Yeah, this kind of stuff is not it. You can do practically everything.
React to sunset. And it's going to have an event name of X _. Oh, come on. Really? Oh, there it is. Sunset. And I don't need a condition on this thing.
Nope.
Do you want to put it in a function, or should we just flat out ham it up? Okay. Lamp on at sunset. Make sure it's active. That is one of the few active fields that is not on by default. That drives me berserk.
I've never registered that is not on by default, but
note to self.
No, that's not a kind of thing I store.
Unlike what Chuck has done the rest of this hour, read your form before you submit it. Okay, then we go back to the event queue, right?
And change the time to something before now.
That's not the right.
And go to your history.
It's queues event. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Event registry event. Event on the no, come on. Event is a terrible thing to look for, isn't it? Events created on today.
Yeah.
And
history's so good.
I know. I don't use it enough. So
process on to any time before now. So you can open that up, hit go to today, maybe, and then just change to time to anything before now. and then it'll process.
For now,
Oh,
really?
That's the event you're looking at is sunrise.
Oh, thank
The
you.
event-
I didn't trigger a sunset. Can I just
Ah.
change this too?
Yes. You're really getting into cheating land here, but yes.
It'll work fine. Ship it to production. See what happens. Okay, it is currently 1530, so let's say 1520.
That one already did process, by the way. So we need a new event because
No,
it
it
was it was sunrise and it was before now, and so it
Oh,
ran.
it was before now. Okay. Fine.
You'll notice that it has a processing duration.
Yeah, so that's why that process date
I
field is
swear
populated.
It took
Before
1
they didn't
millisecond to
process.
say, I have nothing, look at
Nobody
this thing. There's nothing to react to it. 1
No.
millisecond done.
Okay. All right.
All right, so now we should have 3 events in here,
Ta-da!
and
These
we'll
have been
take that
processed.
sunset one and change its time.
We don't have to do a double cheat. It's
Anything before now.
1721, so 1521 ought to work, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in 3 seconds they'll be
I gotta
processed.
turn the webcam on. You got to see the lamp. The lamp is on behind me.
The lamp is on.
The lamp is on. That's a success.
That is victory right there. So refresh your list and make sure that that it was invoked on the processed list field. Yeah, look at that. Processed 285. Look at that. I believe that's victory, gentlemen.
That's pretty awesome.
All righty.
So if you want to stop share,
Stop share. Done.
so that
And it got dark
you
on
can see
you.
that. Oh
Your Christmas
goodness,
tree
it
turned
did.
on. Can I turn your Christmas tree on from here?
All righty. Now I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to readjust. We actually need 2 different OBS profiles here, but let's go ahead and go around the horn and rate our beers.
Beers for rating. Chuck's up.
Half point higher for victory.
Even more victorious than I thought we would get, especially with date time and time zones.
Oh, that was a hole we could have gone down real fast, really. I'm drinking it out of my Carlton Fields from the Tampa last year's Tampa developer meetup, which I still use. It's getting a little banged up now. The Fest beer, I'm giving a 4.0. That is without the victory bonus.
Nice. My Allagash Curio beer is I really like this beer. This is a 4.5. This is one of my favorite beers.
That's serious. That's strong.
Yeah.
My cold press coffee stout from, I said it wrong before. It's got multiple things. Tumwater is how you find it in Untapped. I know because I registered it while we were talking. I'm gonna give this a 4.0. I like it.
Nice.
We did actually get a question.
We
Chuck.
did, which was, how is the connection made with the lamp?
I have a TP-Link smart outlet. So the lamp is plugged into a little module. It's on my Wi-Fi, and the connection is actually happening through a set of APIs that are not public, but I'm willing to publish them. In fact, I think I may have them on my public GitHub account that you can go find. My Casa, K-A-S-A, is the name of the app call on the mobile. So I called my API or my applet for those outbound REST messages Casa.
So wait, but where does the endpoint live? That's at TP. Does TP have a site, or it's in your house?
Yes, it's an API on TP-Link. It's not going through any sort of module or hub or anything on my house.
Okay.
So
Nice.
There's actually 2 calls. One to get a token, and once you get the token, you get an endpoint with it, and you use that token and endpoint to contact that specific device each time.
Okay. So that API you're using is TP-Link specific.
Yes.
Okay.
I contacted them and I said, "Can you publicize this?" And they said, "Well, we don't generally do that." I said, "Well, you should, because
the API is part of the selling point. It increases the value of your."
And I said to them, I responded back. I said, companies who publish their APIs have a bigger market share. You might want to consider that.
Published API means you can have an IFTTT action.
Exactly.
And so like that to me is like, I have been playing around with various, we have played with the Sonoff. I got a similar like $9 switch at Walmart, and which is good in many ways, but no API. So that actually is the difference between, like, you can't use an IFTTT rule on most of the really cheap things. You can on a more expensive Wemo because they have published APIs.
And it really depends on the device, because I know the Sonoff uses MQTT to communicate, whereas you can flash the firmware and put in something with a REST API, but then I would lose my Alexa integration.
That and it stops being cheap when it takes
Yeah.
a couple hours of my
It's
labor.
no longer cheap if I have to spend my time doing
A $20 Wemo is much cheaper than a $5 Sonoff that requires 3 hours of
I have
labor.
had that same argument with myself for the last 2 weeks, because I've been trying to get my wife's 7-inch Kindle Fire from 2012 to run a decent Android store and what's the Nova launcher, so make it look like a real Android tablet. And I went, what the hell am I doing? It's $150 to go get a Samsung tablet. What is wrong with me?
The algebra changes if you're acquiring a skill you want.
Yeah,
Right.
if it's a thing you want to do, then
But if it's
it
busy
doesn't
work
matter.
that is a drag, then
Yeah,
dump it overboard.
dump it. So just a couple of things, reminders: developer.servicenow. Get your training plans. We just released PA.
Oh,
training
nice.
there.
I didn't know about that.
So performance analytics. We just got that out, I think, last week. We're also getting ramped up for updating that content for Madrid release next quarter.
Nice.
So go there to also get our blog. Speaking for virtual assistant, I've got a new blog coming out on virtual assistant probably this evening. Like, I'm really close. I need a couple more images and then I'll publish it.
What type of conversation are you building?
So the conversation I'm actually building for fun is I'm building a help a ServiceNow developer guided tour, a guide to where do I put a thing.
Okay.
Like, where is my logic going?
Yeah, where's my logic going? If I need to make a field mandatory, where should I put it? Do I do a dictionary mandatory? Do I do a client script? Do I do a UI policy, a data policy, a business rule? Where do I put it? So that's actually going to be a lab at Knowledge, is building that. And the output from that lab will be a virtual assistant for ServiceNow developers to help them place their logic.
Fun.
So,
Fun.
but the blog is just on all of the tech bits of how virtual agent is run, where all this stuff is stored, how you use it. And that'll be coming out very, very soon. Very soon. I've been working on it on planes throughout the week.
That's where I'm working on my knowledge sessions too.
And you have, how much time do we have, Chuck, before 6 p.m. Pacific?
We have 3.5 hours now. Slightly less than 3.5 hours.
Slightly less than that.
Yeah, so you've got about 3 hours to send in your submissions for both regular knowledge breakout sessions, CreatorCon sessions, CreatorCon workshops. Get them out there.
You know where I often get my ideas for these sessions is, what have I done in the last year? What have I built? What can I share? What would make a good experience? It doesn't matter how complex or how simple it is. Just go through that backlog, that resume of things you've built in the last year. That's how I got into Knowledge 10 with the Innovation of the Year award. I said, hey, I built something cool. I want to share this. You never know what's going to click. So
things you don't know what will resonate with other people.
Right.
And if you guess, you'll probably be wrong. But just throw it out there and we'll help curate which things we think will resonate with the audience.
Put in multiple entries. Don't be afraid.
Absolutely. Put them in there. Do you have anything else to share, Dave, that I missed on important?
No, I think that's
notes?
It. So with that, I think it is reasonable to head on into our week.
Holiday tree. Look at that.
I love the placement.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
It's undecided whether we'll probably have one more, and then that'll
probably
be
one more
holidays, and we will have some kind of festive Yule time something next week, and then
all right,
then everyone into their holidays. So thanks, everybody. See you.